Welcome to People Helping People, the podcast to help social entrepreneurs build a stronger business and have a greater impact. I'm really excited to launch season 3 because we've been on a break for the last 2 years. Well, we launched Green Champions, a podcast exploring champions tackling climate change. We have over 100 episodes of Green Champions now, which has been such a delight, but I continue to work more deeply with social entrepreneurs in the community. And what I realized is that there's more of a need now than ever for resources that really help social enterprises navigate how to grow and build better businesses. This is because they have a different structure than other entrepreneurs, right? When you're focused on building something that's creating a social impact, that's often the priority in terms of what you want to achieve through your business, not necessarily just getting something to grow your revenue. But at the same time, you're not purely a nonprofit that is only focused on getting grants and fulfilling the impact through that mechanism. But you're focused on developing a revenue stream, actually building a business that can help sustain the kind of impact that you want to make. And I've noticed over the years that social entrepreneurs just tend to think differently, right? They're people that just are really passionate about whatever they're trying to solve. Now, if you're not familiar with what a social enterprise is, it's a business that's designed to create a social impact. It could be solving things like homelessness, people coming out of incarceration. It could be other barriers that people are facing in their life, or education, or equality, or the environment. And within that, people are creating really interesting business models in order to create that impact. A lot of the business models have to do with hiring. So hiring somebody who has some barrier. Maybe that's because they've come out of prison and they're having a hard time readjusting or getting back into life. And the organization helps give them employment and the support that they need in order to get back on their ground. Another avenue that I've seen is social enterprises that are connecting people in new ways in the community. There was one of my favorite kind of local social enterprises is called Modcon Living. And they built this rental agency of tools in a neighborhood where people often couldn't afford the tools that they needed to do their own home renovations. And they kind of created this library of tools that people could go and check out at a very low rate, kind of giving people access to do the kinds of things that they needed to do when they didn't have the budget to go out and do it on their own. When I think about People Helping People as a venue for helping social enterprises build better business so that they can have a stronger impact, I think what that means is really navigating some of these core areas of business development and seeing how they pertain to social enterprises. It could be things like looking at marketing, looking at business development, sales, creating better revenue streams, figuring out your finances, all the kind of business stuff that most social entrepreneurs never learned, or they learned and yet now they're trying to figure out how to actually put it into practice. So this series is designed to really bring some of those conversations to the forefront and help you connect with other social entrepreneurs. I think the other aspect of People Helping People really is this idea of community, that when we come together and support each other in these changes, great things happen. And I'm really excited to be kind of at the vanguard of helping that happen. I've been at the forefront with Give Back Hack, which is an event that brings people together to pitch new ideas of social enterprises they want to start, and then do really early stage design thinking validation on those ideas to say, hey, do I have something that I could develop into a business? And then I facilitate and mentor with a program called Sea Change, which is just a fantastic 14-week accelerator for social enterprises that gives people in those kind of first 1 to 3 years of business, all those business basics of like, what's your business model, financial model, impact model, what are the connections to the community that you need? And then for the last 3 years, I've been running my own social impact mastermind, often with the Sea Change alumni that are out kind of building their businesses and continuing to grow. And I find there in that mastermind, bringing social entrepreneurs together who are at a similar stage, that kind of peer support is really essential in just helping people understand that they're not alone and they're not doing something which is totally crazy as your friends or family might lead you to believe. And I think having that peer support really just helps break down, all right, what is the collective information process stuff that we're learning and how can we share it more effectively with each other? I started this podcast back in 2017. And for me, it really was this exploration of what did I want to do with my life? I was working for my dad's company in retail consulting, building a technology platform. I had this kind of 25 years in tech experience. And I love the people, great people. I loved how they worked and how they showed up to what they did. But in my heart, it's like I knew that wasn't me and what really made me come alive. So the podcast was kind of my vehicle to explore and see, hey, what is social entrepreneurship? What's going on out there? Who's doing cool stuff? I wanted to have these cool conversations to see what was possible. And it drew me in. It got me involved in Get Back Hack and Sea Change. I started my own side hustle work program for youth experiencing homelessness called Wild Tiger Teas. Lots of fun stuff. And I think over that period, I learned that, yeah, this is where my heart is and what I want to do. And I finally left my day job last year, getting into this work more full time. And right now I'm at the kind of early stages trying to build a business model around what I'm doing. So a lot of what I'm learning for myself and developing a business, I'm bringing that in to share on this podcast because there's a lot of overlap just in there in the community working with other social impact businesses. And I want to share what I'm learning and seeing both for myself and with others. And I think this is a great avenue to do it. Also, I've been scared of video for really, really long time. And I'm excited to bring this video into YouTube and really start to get that off the ground. I finally started recording 1-minute reels on Instagram back in August of 2025. And I started with a 100-day challenge of posting a video every day. And it's weird how uncomfortable it is to speak to a camera. But a lot of the entrepreneurs that I work with are trying to figure out social media as well. And are in the same boat of like, how do I actually generate content that is meaningful? There are a lot of social entrepreneurs that are in the same boat of developing content where they're asking, hey, how can I generate content that's meaningful, that generates discussions, that helps me raise awareness of the business that I'm building so that I can get more customers and create a better impact. And I think life's a continual learning process. I think one of the neat things about entrepreneurship is that you're always failing because you just don't know what you're doing, right? There's no like 5-minute guide that you can read and be like, all right, now I know everything about building a business. So I'm just going to go and check off the check boxes. It's really complex. And you end up trying a lot of different things, learning constantly over and over and over again. And that's challenging. I think for successful people that, went through school and just always were in roles where they were good at their job and what they were doing, like me, like it's really hard to not know what I'm doing and to have this fear that, hey, I'm not doing it well because I don't know that. At the same time, we have this great agency, all of us, in terms of figuring out what we want to do and how we can create things going forward. And I think one of the best things that we can do is really tap into that agency. And when it's aligned with like, hey, here's a mission in the world that I really care about and lights me up because it's exciting, because I'm out there connecting with other people that have real problems. And I have ideas on like how we can collaborate to make life just a little bit more easy and fun and connected for all of us. Then I think that synergy really leads to some awesome ideas and great work that's happening. So my vision for people helping people is to find more people who are curious about getting into the world of social entrepreneurship. And for those that are building social impact businesses, whether nonprofit, for-profit, wherever you are, developing revenue streams that the intended purpose is to create that social impact, I hope to reach you and provide you the information that will help you grow. With that, I would love for you to reach out and share with ideas of like, here's what you'd like to learn. Here's what kind of information would help you in your business. I already talked to many of you, and this is just one more vehicle for us to communicate, especially as we're exploring ideas. For those of you who are turning in for their first time, I am a social entrepreneur myself. I've been in that path, but I don't only just work with social entrepreneurs. My inspiration is to work with purpose-driven businesses and really tap into this 25 years of tech experience I have building cloud platforms, being a CTO, this really core technology background that I have, and helping businesses improve their own processes. Although I'm typically not the guy that you call when you need a better process. Usually I'm the guy that you call when you have a blank sheet of paper and you don't know where to start. I'm the guy that usually you bring in to invent the playing field. I'm very good at these situations when you just drop me in and say, hey, we don't know how we're going to figure out what we need to do next, but we have to figure out something. For some reason, I've always thrived in that environment where just like there's no boundaries and no information, and it's really overwhelming and confusing in one sense. But in another sense, for me, I can really spot big picture ideas that bring together a plan and an approach forward. It's a very unique skill set in the world, but one that I hope to put to use, creating a better social impact through the work. Now, with that, I hope you're excited for season 3. We have some great guests lined up, both social entrepreneurs who have been in the trenches and really developed something great, and other companies and people that are supporting social entrepreneurs with different services, being able to explain what they do and how they can help, as well as like tidbits of information that you can bring into your business and how to approach things that you might not have tackled before. Also, in season 3, I plan to have more deep dives of me just explaining a concept from something that I've learned, and kind of all the boundaries and different things that are going on. So you'll get some really interesting topics coming up from that. And I look forward to sharing with you all these great ideas on how to make the world a better place. With that, thank you for tuning in. See you on the next episode of People Helping People.